Admiral, can you just talk about the risks and how it actually works when it gets airdropped on the ground? As you say, it's very dense, so who takes the lead to actually distribute it, make sure it's the right person? Just how does it work on the ground?
We're working through all that, the modalities of that right now. I mean, you want to make sure that to the maximum degree possible, you've got aid organizations and partners on the ground that can help with the distribution, the collection of that and the distribution of that aid, and to help us get it to the right people. They're the ones on the ground, whether it's the UN, whether it's the World Food Program and others. They know where the needs are.
And can you talk about the size and scale of the impact here? Is it equivalent to how many trucks, one airdrop, for instance?
I mean, look, on one airdrop, which will be multiple pallets of material. You're not just talking about one pallet, but you'll have multiple pallets, depending on the size of the aircraft that we end up using and how much we drop. It can be certainly significant in terms of the size and scale and scope. And the one advantage that it has over trucking is that it's pretty quick. I mean, it can get to need, it can get to location pretty quickly. And as I said, we'll try to do this in a sustainable way over time. It'll be a supplement to, not a replacement for, moving things in by ground.
In terms of the maritime corridor, when do you think that could start, and what are the key risks as you assess how to implement that?
Again, we're at the early stages right now, working our way through this. There's going to be a security component to that. You want to make sure if you do it, that same thing, that you're getting the aid to people that need it, and that the folks that are getting it ashore can be safe. It is a war zone. And, again, when you're talking about doing things in the maritime environment, weather and other external conditions, things you can't control, obviously play a role. So we're still at the beginning stages of working through what that's going to look like. We are we're much further along in terms of the being able to execute airdrops than we are a maritime corridor.
Thanks, Green. Thanks, Admiral. You mentioned earlier that you've been working on the idea of airdrops for some time. Were the tragic events in Gaza yesterday, did they help? Did they encourage the president to accelerate that decision? Did that sort of push him to push that decision forward?
Again, we were working on this idea now again for some time here, knowing that we weren't meeting the need totally through convoys. I think what yesterday's event underscores, and certainly underscored for the president, is the need to continue to find alternative routes and alternative means of getting humanitarian assistance into Gazans. It certainly underscores the importance of that. But again, I want to be clear, this isn't about replacing trucks. It's not about replacing ground routes in. It's about supplementing those ground routes. And the last thing I'd say is it also underscored for the president how vitally important it is for us to get this deal in place, this 6-week ceasefire, so that we can increase the aid.
When did he make the decision? He made the decision yesterday, after the final decision. Did he make that yesterday after these events in Gaza?
I don't have an exact tick-tock of when he actually, hit go, but in recent days, he certainly made it clear that he wanted to move forward in that direction.